Magic the Gathering players ask the question, is it worth it to buy a Mood Swings secret lair? What is Mood Swings? Well, Magic the Gathering's lead designer, Mark Rosewater, just made a whole new game. No, not a new format or a new variation on Commander, but rather a self-contained game that uses early sketches from recognizable Magic card art. It's called Mood Swings, and it is intended to be a more accessible card game than the notoriously complex Magic the Gathering. But while it is not a variation on Magic, the first edition will be sold exclusively through the Secret Lair website this upcoming Monday. But what exactly is Mood Swings? Well, it's this, but how does the game work? Is it fun to play, and is it as easy to learn as advertised? Is it worth it to buy a copy for yourself? And given the recent track record with secret lairs, will you even be able to pick up a copy if you do indeed want to buy one? Well, in this video, we'll be covering all that and more as I open up my copy of Mood Swings to teach you not just how to play, but whether or not it is fun to play, and most importantly, whether or not it's worth it to buy. Let's get started. But first, Mood Swings isn't the only non-Magic trading card game created by a Magic visionary, as this video is sponsored by Cataclysm Arcade, designed by the legendary Pro Tour historian Brian David Marshall. This is actually another game that, while not Magic, was designed with Magic players in mind. So what exactly is Cataclysm Arcade? Cataclysm Arcade is one of the most innovative new TCGs ever, and it goes live on Kickstarter June 2nd. One of the many things that makes Cataclysm Arcade so special is that it's one of the first trading card games designed to be played right out of the pack. You heard me right, you can rip open just one single booster pack and immediately play a game with 2, 3, or even 4 players. There's a lot of game packed into just one booster. Cataclysm Arcade still allows you to do all the things you love about trading card games. Sealed Deck, Booster Draft, and Constructed are all there and more. And if you're a fan of multiplayer formats, Cataclysm Arcade scales effortlessly from heads-up duels to chaotic 4-player free-for-alls. It completely eliminates classic TCG feel bads. The setting is a brutal post-apocalyptic 1986 New York City subway system where survival is determined by a gladiatorial deathmatch. Each pack includes a boss card to represent you, fighters to defend you, and custom weapons to level up your combat. Cataclysm Arcade's Kickstarter campaign has some truly spectacular offerings. Every booster display purchase comes with a bonus prize pack box topper. Hidden inside those prize packs are 2 one-of-one original, hand-painted art redemptions by Eric Klug, the king of altar art. This is the first time you could ever pull an official original Klug painting straight from a game release. The Cataclysm Arcade team is so confident you'll love this game that they'll send a booster pack to those who become early bird backers by June 1st for just $5. If you do, you'll get 2 exclusive Blood and Steel foil cards and bonus items unlocked during the Kickstarter campaign. So just go to playcataclysmarcade.com right now to lock in those early bird perks and check out the Kickstarter campaign when it goes live on June 2nd. Thank you, Cataclysm Arcade, for sponsoring this video. So what is Mood Swings? Mood Swings is a standalone trading card game designed by Mark Rosewater, who has served as Magic the Gathering's lead designer for the past 23 years. But he's actually been working on Mood Swings for even longer. He first began development of the game way back in 1998, which is 2 years after I graduated high school. That means Mood Swings has been in the works since Urza's Saga. Urza's Saga, the Magic set, not the Magic card. Mood Swings is a light strategy game that's fast, simple, and easy to learn. Everything you need to play a game of Mood Swings with your friends comes right in one box. Simply take out the Mood Swings deck, shuffle it up, and start playing. Games go quickly enough to be played between rounds of Magic. A 2-player game of Mood Swings takes between 5 and 10 minutes. Because this is a trading card game, no 2 copies of Mood Swings are alike. A single copy comes with 45 random cards of different rarities, corresponding to the rarities of Magic the Gathering. common, uncommon, rare, and mythic. There are 133 cards total that you could open in your box from the overall Mood Swings card pool. Mood Swings uses the same 5 colors as Magic and pulls its art directly from sketches of published Magic art. But the game has no connection to Magic, either mechanically or thematically. Rather, in Mood Swings, each card represents some kind of emotion or mood. Mood Swings can be played with as few as 2 people, but the 45-card pre-constructed deck that you get in a Mood Swings box can support up to 4 players all on its own. The price to purchase this via Monday's Secret Lair is $24.99. Mood Swings is a shared deck game like Dan Dan or Battle Box. All players draw from the same deck and pitch to the same discard pile. In order to play Mood Swings, simply shuffle up the deck and deal 5 cards to each player. You can use any random method for deciding who goes first, but Mark Rosewater recommends turning the deck over to look at the bottom mood card. Whichever player most recently experienced that mood gets to choose who starts the first round, and then turns progress in a clockwise order. So for example, we got Self-Loathing, which means I go first. On your turn, you have 2 options. You can play a card to the board face up, or you can pass. Most of the time, you'll want to play a card. Each card has a unique set of characteristics. A point value in the top right corner, depicted as a number on a die. These point values are what you'll track to see who wins a round of Mood Swings. Some moods have 2 different point values. For example, Misery will normally score you 2 points. But if you have 2 or more cards in the discard pile that share a color, then you'll score 8 points. Most mood cards also have an effect of some sort. These may occur when you play them, or they may be a continuous effect that lasts while it's in play. Mood cards also belong to one of 5 colors: white, blue, black, red, and green. As of right now, there are no multicolor cards in Mood Swings. Each player only gets 1 turn per round. Once everyone's taken a turn, add up each player's points to determine the winner of the round. Any ties are decided by giving the win to whoever played a card earliest in the round. The winner of each round goes first in the next one. To players used to Magic, that may sound like the rich getting richer, but in Mood Swings, it's actually a disadvantage to go first because you have no information about what your opponents will do when you make your play. The players who didn't win the round also get to draw a card at the end of the round. This creates ample opportunity for players to catch up. In a game involving 3 or more players, the player who scored the fewest points in a round also automatically receives a copy of the card Hurt Feelings for the duration of the next round. Cards remain in play across rounds unless they are put into the discard pile to another card's effect. Once a player has won 3 rounds, they've won the game. And that's it. That's how you play Mood Swings. Compared to Magic the Gathering, Mood Swings is much, much more accessible. There's no resource management to keep track of beyond the total number of cards in your hand, and because you can only play a single card each turn, there are far fewer decisions to make. All the information you need to make your plays are face up on the field, especially later in the game when each player has very few cards left in hand. But while Mood Swings sounds simple to play, there is still strategy enabled by the effects of the mood cards. For example, you can play setup cards like Enthusiasm that may lose you the early round because it has a 0 point value, but then let you double score one of your higher value moods, like a Mighty Superiority. Sequencing is the main tactical track in the game. A player who plays their cards in the optimal order is more likely to win than a player who simply draws better cards. As a Magic player, playing Mood Swings often felt, to me anyway, like getting into the heart of the action from a game of Magic. From the very first turn, the cards you play matter, and the counterplay is very real. Playing a game of Mood Swings involves identifying the synergies in your hand, evaluating the board state your opponent is showing you, and adapting to the cards you draw after losing a round. The fact that you and your opponents are playing from the same deck is a major equalizer. It means you won't lose a game of Mood Swings simply because you've lined up against a bad matchup. But what exactly can you expect to find in your Mood Swings deck? Everything you need to play Mood Swings comes in a single box of 45 cards, and each box of Mood Swings has its own unique combination of cards from that 133 card total pool. A copy of Mood Swings contains 23 common cards, 14 uncommons, 6 rares, and 2 mythic rare cards. There are no duplicates among these cards, even among the commons. The Mood Swings box also contains a rules card, a play aid card, and 1 copy of Hurt Feelings, the catch-up mechanic card reserved for games involving more than 2 players. While these are the base contents, players are encouraged to collect additional Mood Swings cards to customize their deck. There's no rule against adding multiples of the same card to a deck, though Mark Rosewater feels the game is best played in singleton form. Again, a single copy of Mood Swings costs $24.99 from the Secret Lair website, which is less than even non-foil Secret Lairs are sold for. Best of all, you only need 1 copy of Mood Swings to play with friends. You don't each need a copy. So as long as one person has 1 box of Mood Swings, again $24.99, up to 4 players can play together and enjoy it. And just like with Cube, your imagination is the only limit. That's because Mood Swings is adaptable to many different ways to play due to its simple rule set. You can play it as a 2-player dueling game or expand it to be a multiplayer game which uses the unique Hurt Feelings card that lets the player with the lowest score play an additional mood on their turn. Or you can draft it, play it as a team game. There's a variety of different ways to play Mood Swings that the design team have created themselves to test the rules. Mood Swings seems to have a lot to offer players in terms of the contents of 1 or multiple copies, but even though it has some baked-in chaos or the flexibility to be streamlined to your tastes, is the game fun enough to be worth the effort? So the big question is Mood Swings fun? And obviously fun is subjective, but I've played this game a lot at this point, and I would say yes, I feel Mood Swings is a fun game. If you're already a fan of Magic the Gathering, you'll find a lot of familiar gameplay elements that you love about Magic available in Mood Swings. Interaction, card synergies, and swingy gameplay are all fundamental aspects of Mood Swings. Many card effects in Mood Swings are similar to those of Magic the Gathering. Anxiety, for example, bounces another mood back to hand, similar to an unsummon. Pacifism locks down an opponent's mood, the same way a pacifism in Magic locks down an opponent's creature. And the card Wrath literally wipes the board clear of all moods. The natural catch-up mechanics mean that the player who starts out ahead doesn't necessarily stay ahead. The word swings is literally in the name. Tempo advantage is huge since players are gated by that single mood per round rule. And because the deck is singleton and players will never see more than 15 cards in each 2-player game, there's tons of replayability. Even when you do see the same cards show up as from a previous game, the way in which they'll interact and synergize with the other cards in play will still be different. But more than anything, the best part about Mood Swings is its accessibility factor. It's very common for players who love Magic the Gathering to have difficulty introducing their loved ones to this great game. That's because Magic is just so complicated that the barrier to entry is high, and that means a lot of people that you might want to play Magic with aren't really going to want to play it with you. And I think we all know that feeling. Hey, you want to learn to play Magic the Gathering, and then after a couple hours, your friend or loved one says, you know what? This really isn't resonating with me. Mood Swings, on the other hand, is a game that feels similar to Magic the Gathering in many ways, but that is quick and easy to teach to a partner, parent, or friend who may have been resistant to learning Magic. I can even imagine someone playing Mood Swings and then finding it easier to learn Magic because of the principles they learned with Mood Swings. So yes, in my subjective opinion, I legitimately feel that Mood Swings is a fun game to play, and a very accessible one, but is it actually worth it to buy? Tackling the question of whether or not a self-contained game such as Mood Swings is worth it to buy is very difficult. Almost as difficult as answering whether or not it is fun because, well, it's not a collectible game in the sense of Magic the Gathering where you cannot say these cards are worth this value, this is what they're selling them to you for, and therefore it is or it is not a good deal. The best way, therefore, that I know of to evaluate whether or not Mood Swings is worth it to buy is to compare it to other games of a similar nature. So the fact that Mood Swings only costs $24.99, assuming you can get it on the Secret Lair website on Monday, is one of its strongest factors. And if I, as someone who plays a lot of card and board games, were to compare it to ones I think are comparable, the first two that come to mind are Uno and Flux. Now, the MSRP for the standard Uno card game is anywhere between $5.99 to $9.99, depending on the exact packaging and edition. That's obviously a lot less, but Mood Swings is a lot more complex than Uno. Flux is the game it really reminded me of. It's a fun game, Flux, if you haven't checked it out. And the MSRP for the standard edition of Flux is $20. Though Flux, of course, has many, many, many versions, but I would say Flux is comparably priced and a very comparable game. Some other ones that come to mind would be Sushi Go, which is a little bit more of a draft simulator. Awesome game you should check out. And that is an MSRP of $14.99, though the expanded Party Edition is $21.99. Another similar game might be Boss Monster, the dungeon building card game, which, while it does have a lot of editions itself, is widely available at an MSRP of $24.95. That $24.99 price is genuinely fair, but whether you actually get it for $24.99 is a different question entirely. Mood Swings is currently only available through the Secret Lair web store on Monday. And if you've bought anything through Secret Lair before, you already know where this is going. Being able to buy the product you want via the Secret Lair store is not a given. And limited runs mean that if you miss the window, you're paying secondary market prices for something that was $24.99 yesterday. That, of course, is not a Mood Swings problem. It's a Secret Lair problem, one I've discussed, but it is one that may apply here. We'll see what the lines are like on Monday. As a quick reminder, the Dan Secret Lair sold out in half an hour or so, and is now selling on the secondary market for over $200. The Goblin Storm Commander deck Secret Lair sold out in less than half an hour, and is selling for well over $500 on the secondary market right now. Will Mood Swings follow that same trajectory? I hope not. I hope everyone who wants to buy one of these can do so on Monday. And if they can, I hope that whatever was done to ensure that this happened can be applied to Secret Lairs of Magic the Gathering products in the future. Honestly, one of the problems I've had with the many, many iterations of Magic products that attempt to be the Magic the Gathering board game, we see these crop up in a lot of sets, is that these Magic the Gathering board games end up costing way more than any board game costs. And a lot of those Magic the Gathering board games are never quite Magic the Gathering or a board game. They're in this weird in-between space where maybe you get a couple fun runs with them and that's about it. They don't have the replayability of, say, Dominion. Does Mood Swings have the replayability of a game like Sushi Go or Uno? Yes, I think it does, and it is comparably priced. Final conclusion. Mood Swings is a fast and fun game that can be learned in a matter of minutes. Although it is not Magic the Gathering, Mood Swings is a game full of cards which have interesting interactions with one another in ways that Magic players in particular will appreciate. It is comparably priced to similar games of this style, and, best of all, you need only one copy of Mood Swings for a group of people to play and enjoy. My only concern is availability, as the game is being offered as a Secret Lair. Hopefully, everyone who wants one will be able to buy one. And if indeed that ends up being the case, then I can say with confidence that $24.99 for a product such as this is an A value. And I just know that those who pick up this product will in turn receive many games of enjoyment from playing it. I hope very much this video has been of some help to you, and I hope very much that every person who wants to get a copy of Mood Swings can get a copy of Mood Swings come Monday. While this might not be the product for everyone, it is still a product that I hope everyone who wants it is able to get. If you'd like to hear a more detailed discussion about the problems facing Secret Lairs, you can watch our recent video on the subject here, or if you're just looking to have a little bit of fun, you can check out the newest episode of Shuffle Up and Play, in which I sit down with Josh Lee Kwai, Krim, and Lily to offer my own attempt at some new rules for Commander. Both those videos are linked in this video's description.
Next time on Shuffle Up and Play.
Oops, it's Shuffle Up and Play. Today, we're playing Oops All Commander decks. Sam, Cal, and Cosmonaut Marcus have built Oops All decks, but what have their decks oopsed into?
Gev Scaled Scorch says, whenever you cast a lizard spell, Gev deals 1 damage to target opponent. I'm just gonna X that out because we don't have any lizards. Good luck guessing my theme. So I'll give you a hint.
Loyal Inventor. It's actually Alexander Graham Bell in this.
Oh my God.
Let's go.
Come
I get the
on,
theme.
Marcus.
It's Oops All Magic properties.
I'm on the battle bus.
I like the humongous frown.
It's gotta be Oops All Ram.
You guys like that?
It's gotta be Oops All Ram.
Prof, this is your chance to stand on principles, sacrificing your own power by removing SpongeBob from Magic Forever. Do it.